Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Ron Selvey, who is head of marketing at MINDBODY. Hi, Ron.
Hello. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here because I want to talk about the B2B marketing side.
Great.
Right, MINDBODY has both the consumer side and the business side, and you are a giant in the industry that you're in. So let's hear about it. What's been going on with MINDBODY?
Yeah, so MINDBODY, a lot of exciting things have been going on with the company. As you mentioned, we're the big players in the space. So for those who don't know who MINDBODY is, MINDBODY really emerged from the idea of helping small business owners in the wellness space, as well as the large companies in the wellness space, spend more of their time on what matters most, and that's really the customers. Making sure the customer experience is as positive and valuable as possible. And we've done that by building out the leading technology platform that really connects all the consumers in the world, everyday people who, we're trying to do our best to live healthier and happier lives through fitness, through wellness, through working out, through doing things that give us an edge and make us live happier lives, longer lives, and connecting them with businesses out there and making those businesses operate more efficiently through tools like marketing, payments, online booking technology, AI tools, anything that will make their business differentiate from others in the market.
So you are helping those studio owners or the franchise owners, like Orange Theory, for example, for those.
It's one of our favorite customers. Absolutely.
Okay, so you have over 70,000 customers that you're helping. Okay, so let's talk about the marketing side because you've done some improvements in how marketing's been performing. I wanted to get best practices. For example, I know you talked about, say, the ABM approach to marketing. And a lot of people are trying out ABMs. Maybe you can share about what you've been doing, what you've seen as successful.
Sure. Yeah, ABM's been around for quite some time, right? If you look at back in the day, older companies were sending out gift baskets. They were showing up door to door. They were really building that personalized experience with their prospects to really differentiate themselves on a level of service and value. And I think in today's world, marketers have gotten so good, and it's quite easy now to do a Google ad. It's pretty easy to do some content creation, right? The key is the strategy behind it. And the key now is in this noisy world where so many marketers are coming at us, how do you create that pattern disruption? How do you create an emotional experience that is going to relate to you as an individual? And I think that's where really ABM comes in from the audience perspective. Now, from the business perspective, ABM, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. What I've seen work really well and what we're doing pretty heavily is leveraging the data, right? Data has to come first. So you have to identify who's your target market, what are the type of customers, what's the perfect demographic, what's the perfect organization that is going to drive the most benefit to your organization that you can provide the most value to. Because the result of that is you improve your churn rates, which naturally result in a higher valuation of your organization, and which is a win-win for everybody.
I like what you had shared about this one-on-one part, because I know it's like you can do ABM that's targeting several people in a type of company and go after all kinds of companies that are fitting that type. But the one part that you share I find very interesting is the investment in going after that one individual in a company. And this is like a very large enterprise account you're going after, right? Share with us how deep you actually go, for example.
There's some great examples there. So our marketing, our ABM strategy looks at one-to-one, one-to-few, and one-to-many. And we've hired some excellent people really driving those programs. And our one-to-one strategy is really focused on having a really strong relationship and cohesive experience with our sales partners, identifying what are the top target accounts that we want to go after. And so once we identify like who's the biggest, who's the best, we really want them to be customers, we know we can help them. We identify who those individuals are, and then we just go all in. We create a task force around that specific account, and that could be it could be an account where there's a parent company that has anywhere from 500-600 franchisees, or it could be an organization that's just very large based on their revenue that's coming in. And there's different data points that we look at to determine what those accounts are. And then once we've identified what those key accounts are, we identify what is the buyer journey, right? And a lot of companies look at like, let me just machine gun and throw everything at them. But some companies buy technology different than others. And so if we identify that franchisees have the power to purchase technology themselves, and that's where we want to target. If we find out that the parent company is the one that makes those decisions, okay, that's the relationship we need to build. And then we identify the specific individuals at that organization, and we look at who's the catalyst, who has purchasing authority, who are the resistors, and we do our research, and then we start identifying what personally motivates them as individuals, and then we start targeting them with custom content, direct mail, whatever it might be. And so those are areas that we have the resources to leverage, both on the strategy side and also technology. So we look at what technology do we have inside our company that will show us buyer intent and surface when people are at the right time in the buyer journey, so that we can scale this out at a larger program level.
Do you actually go to the point where you find out their schedule of stopping at a Starbucks, for example, and just make sure you go and have a cup of coffee at the same time?
I'm sure some of our sales reps are at that level, but we're not there. Yeah.
I'm just joking. Okay, so the other thing I find very interesting is that you have the SDR team of about 90 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a lot of times maybe they belong on the sales side, but now you're saying they are a lot more effective being on the marketing side. So what has changed, and why do you think it's more effective?
Yeah, that's a great topic, and there's definitely different opinions around that one for sure in the SaaS industry. I've been at my last 4 tech companies. We've moved the SDR team under marketing at all 3 of them, and it worked out really well. Now, it has to happen with a strong relationship with your sales team, obviously. The benefits that I've seen to actually make that transition are typically when you're running a sales team, your focus is going to be on the closers, the account executives, making sure that they have the tools, making sure the bottom of the funnel, things are happening right. And so during that process, sometimes SDRs might not get all the budget and attention they need for training and investment. And when you move an SDR team under the marketing team, it's naturally a good place because the marketing team, we're being graded and rewarded based on opportunities and revenue generated from all the hard work and the millions of dollars we're spending on lead generation and demand capture. And so by having the SDR team, which is typically the first touch when a lead comes in, having them underneath our umbrella naturally puts my mindset of like investing in them as much as I possibly can, and then turning them into phenomenal salespeople. To me, SDRs are usually the fastest growing department where you have the most promotions and most people churning through really quickly, moving up into the org, whether it's into customer success or into sales. And by putting them into marketing, we really get to groom them into understanding the product, understanding the positioning, and getting the resources on training.
And they are there to then qualify the opportunity and then pass it over to the sales reps?
So in our world, and I've deployed similar things in prior lives, the leads come in from marketing channels, whatever channel that might be, digital events, nurture programs, as they come in, or just lead scoring based on engagement data. They go in, and then they go directly to an SDR to qualify. In our world, the SDR looks at multiple aspects of the business, of the individual, to see if they have business acumen at a certain level that we want to bring in. Make sure they are really the right type of business for us. Now, that's changed as our company has evolved. When MindBody first started, we were bringing in a lot of business. We're figuring out what's the best area to focus. And now we have a really, really good idea of what a perfect customer looks like that's going to really, really make it because we have the data. And so we have those elements in the SDR requirements process, and then the SDR makes a call, qualifies, and then schedules a meeting with the account executive to actually do a qualification call and a demo, and then push the lead forward, and then we force a handoff. And so what a lot of companies don't do is actually force the rep to sign off on the MQL. And what happens with that is you can have a funnel that's not the cleanest in the world. And you can have a leaky funnel, and then you also you take the risk of ruining the SDR and sales relationship, right? So if you have an SDR team under marketing that is just driving a bunch of MQLs, where the rep actually isn't signing off saying, "Hey, good job, SDR, that really is an MQL," then you're running the risk of them not working as best together. So,
right. Yeah. I think you're right. A lot of times people qualify, and then automatically it's sent over to the sales side. But here you're saying it's actually better to have salespeople confirm that it is a qualified.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then it gets, and so the benefits you've seen have been like a higher opportunity to close deals.
Yeah, usually when you implement that process, what you'll see is obviously the more you qualify, the less lead to operate, right? The lead to MQL rate is going to be negatively impacted.
Yes.
But the positive gain from that is you're going to have a healthier middle and bottom of the funnel, which is going to be a stronger, typically what you would see is a stronger op to close rate. Right?
And better forecasting of revenue in that case.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And stronger SLAs, and it just improves also morale too. So if
Yeah.
you have a healthier funnel, your sales reps will likely be able to attain their quota a lot better. So it's also good for your sales and SDR culture.
Okay. Some other things that are very interesting you're doing, which is too early maybe to share about the specific, but I know like product placement is an area not many people do, and so I find it very interesting that you're testing that out. Right?
Yeah, we're doing a ton of both B2B and B2C marketing. We call it the flywheel approach, and we're doing a lot of advertising on TV. We're doing a couple product placement areas in some shows. We're doing billboards, radio ads. A lot of it's going on really, really strong right now. We're having some really positive feedback.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to talk more about it maybe later on.
Sure. Yeah.
So what are you planning to push for further improvement in marketing? Now, I know you've done ABM, you're doing a lot of advertising and improving the sales development, SDR team and all that. So what else is new that you're really testing and pushing?
Okay, what can I share? I can't share it all. No. I would say operationally, we're making a lot of advances in the organization. MindBody has grown really fast, and we're the beast in the industry.
Yep.
And so as you grow with hyperactive growth, you need to make sure that your processes are following the best practices. So we're really digging into that and making sure that, for example, like multi-touch attribution, right? So a lot of organizations struggle with this. It's not easy. There's ways to do it right. Most organizations start either with first touch attribution or last touch attribution. So if a lead comes in from a specific ad, that's what gets credit, versus if a sales rep puts in a lead and then that lead individual comes in and clicks on the ad, that ad wouldn't get credit, right? And marketing wouldn't, get the seat at the table for benefits of that. And so that can negatively impact where you're investing in your organization because you don't, or in your marketing team, because you don't know what channels are working best, and you can have some blind spots. It's a tough thing that marketers face because there's also areas where, let's use an example of digital or display marketing. Now, display marketing typically isn't a big, giant driver of lead creation. But we've seen when we put more display ads out there, it does have a kind of a halo effect on improving more lead capture because of that brand awareness starts to spike up. But it's hard to really give that display ad all the credit. So with multi-touch attribution, which is something we're putting in place, we can see, and we do it by weighting. We look at all the different channels, the different ads, and we kind of have to fail our way forward into doing it and to see what channels are performing better than others, but to also make sure that we can identify marketing revenue contribution or influenced marketing revenue. So if we can see leads that have been cookied and they see an ad or they go to a webinar or they go to all these different channels, marketing gets stamped credit for it. So when you do first touch attribution and you do reporting and your whole org is reporting based on first touch attribution, including SDR teams or sales teams, it can not always provide the best result. And so by having those things in place, it makes us just way, way stronger on where we need to invest.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But you need tools to do that.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Well, how about challenges? What challenges do you face? I mean, if you are already a dominant player, what challenges do you have? Maybe in other countries, other markets?
Sure. Yeah. So, we are a large company. We are globally distributed. So, with that comes its challenges. And it's not about, when we launch a new product or a new service, it's not about getting it right. It's about getting it right for every single vertical. And in our world, we kind of bucket things with fitness. Wellness is our, top how we bucket things. And then we have fitness and then spa and salon. We're really growing in spa and salon as well. Huge focus there as well. with fitness being a key dominant area that we were really good at.
Yeah, yeah.
And so with that, underneath fitness, you have your yoga studios, you have your cryotherapy, you have your spin classes, high intensity, you have so many different types of fitness programs. And then in spa and salon, you have, your lash lounges, you have the blow dry places. I mean, there's so many sub verticals, and each one of those verticals, especially when you look at a global level and different cultures and everything, they talk differently. They have different needs, and they also have different approaches to buying technology. And so that's where things get fun, right, as a marketer. So we have to really dig into the data and make sure that when we're building out integrated campaigns, that we're planning specifically for the unique needs of every one of those sub verticals. So that's content, that's images, that's language. So it's a fun environment to be in. Yeah, it's a lot of cuts to it.
I appreciate you sharing all that because I find it very fascinating what you're trying to do. And so I appreciate you sharing best practices with the audience too.
Sure. Yeah. Anytime.
There you have it, folks. Ron Selvey from MINDBODY.
Thank you so much.